everybody, and welcome to How to Create episode number 1. Today I'm going to be talking about the basics of creating stress units so you can power any creation in your world. So as you can see behind me, I have set up a little board of all the different basic mechanics to create your stress units. Starting off with the hand crank, it's pretty simple. These are pretty early game, and as you can see, when I'm not spinning, it has 0 SU, which is stress units. When I do spin it, it has 256, which is like the max capacity that this can power without help. So we're gonna set up a little mechanical press here, throw on some gold ingots, and we're gonna start spinning this. And as you can see, it works perfectly fine. But if we were to add more and connect it using cogwheels and all that, it would not be as effective. Alright, next we have a valve handle, which these are not as useful as hand cranks. I still recommend using hand cranks, but you can kind of control which how much it'll rotate. So if you want to set to 90, it will only rotate 90 degrees each time you right click. Alright, now we got water wheels, large water wheels, and windmills. These are your basic automatic sources of energy. So we're gonna start off with the normal water wheel, smaller. I have 3 set up here to a mechanical press and a depot. Throwing it on there, it'll automatically drop the press down. Now it is pretty slow, and they're all gonna be pretty slow unless you add speed control, which I'll talk about in the next video. Large water wheel. Now this is pretty much the same thing, it just has a greater capacity of stress units. So we throw our gold on there, it'll be doing the same thing as the smaller water wheel. Windmills, they are a little bit more expensive to create, but they are also a good source of energy early on. But they also give a wider range of stress units the more windmills you use. So going back to the board over here, windmills can give you from like 512 to the max on one windmill bearing to 8. We're going to put our mechanical press depot, and it'll be doing the same speed pretty much as the others. Next, we're going to talk about steam engines, and these are pretty complicated if you really want to make a really big one, but the smaller ones are pretty easy to do. So this is your basic one that you're going to be able to make pretty early on. Obviously this stuff is just copper, so in your survival worlds, this is a pretty easy source. Over here, this is a larger steam engine which is fully powered by itself. It requires blaze burners, which require going to the nether and collecting blazes, as well as brass. I'm just going to talk about basically how these work. So right here, this pump is collecting the water, bringing it into here, while this steam evaporates it and turns it into energy and spins this shaft, which turns the cog and turns the pump so it can continue the whole process. At that point, you can just bring one of these shafts out and connect it to whatever you want to. The larger piece, it's a lot more complicated because of the blaze burners specifically. So blaze burners require a fuel source every time they want to be used. So lava, one of the most effective and farmable, is going to be the best source for right now. So obviously we have a lava farm that underneath has pumps collecting it, sending it into this spout where it's put at this depot, and the mechanical arm right here grabs it and puts it in, fuels all of these blaze burners right here, which fuel the boiler area. This is obviously the same kind of thing over here with the cogwheel and the pump that goes all the way up to here, which is the jump start, as I like to call it, which is basically just the windmill. So now I'm going to run through the steps of making a steam engine, and it's actually pretty simple, only requires a few materials. So we're basically building one of these. So we're going to start off with our water, and we're going to make like a little line so it's infinite water source. And we're going to grab our campfires, put one here, one here, one here. And the placement is kind of specific, so make sure if you're following this along, make sure you put in the correct spots. So we have the middle of the campfire area, 3x3, up with the line, the left side of the water. Above that, we're going to place one layer of fluid tanks, and that'll all connect up if you have a full 9x9. You're going to grab your steam engine, put it there, and then we're going to get the pumps going. So two fluid pipes out and the pump beneath it. So if you have goggles, which I think I already do. Yeah, I already do have goggles. Obviously, goggles let you see all this stuff, and with a wrench, you want to make sure that the little arrow down there is facing upwards. So you just right click it if it's not. That way the water is going into the boiler and not into the source. You're gonna grab your shaft. You're gonna place it like this. That way the shaft is leading out like this way and not this way. So you have your shaft like that. You're going to connect it up to a vertical gearbox like so, which is going to connect up to more shafts with your large cogwheel right there connected to the shaft. And that's pretty much it. Now all you're going to want to do is grab another cogwheel or whatever, connect it to a hand crank, give it a spin, and that's it. You're done. Now this will automatically start making your energy, and you can connect it to whatever you want. The creative motor, which is basically obviously only for creative. You pretty much have infinite stress units, but there is a limit, but you probably won't reach it with one more. You can always get a second one. So it's the same thing, just an energy source, and it'll power your creation. You can also set this to a different speed. So if you want to turn the speed up, you can also turn it way up, and it'll be producing these really fast. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this was helpful for a few of you guys. Next video, we're going to be talking about how to speed up your different creations to make it so it's not super slow like the deployer behind me, and so it's a bit quicker so you can get more done. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.